extremely difficult stretch over the next 6 days. First up, 3 games in Detroit against a potent Tigers offense, followed by 3 in Cleveland against the feisty Kansas City Royals. It's early, but the Tribe doesn't want to dig too big a hole in the AL Central. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And the Indians get their chance, starting next on Sports Time Ohio. For the first time this year, we greet you from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, where the Cleveland Indians invade for a 3-game weekend series. Big matchup. It's the Tribe and the Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians limp in here, a struggling ball club, last place in the American League Central Division. They take on a Detroit Tigers team that really whacked them. I mean, handed it to them in their first meeting back in Cleveland. They've got to figure out a way to not only beat the Tigers, but to contain Miguel Cabrera.
Well, he's always hit the Indians very well, and he had a terrific series back in Cleveland. The one thing that made him have such a good series is because they couldn't control the guys, the table setters in front of him. When you got to face Cabrera, you want to face him with nobody on, but the series he had 11 for 14, a couple of dingers, 6 ribbies. He controlled that whole series. Hopefully, they keep the guys off base in front of him, so you have an opportunity. If you don't want, you walk them. They did one time in that last game of the series. They walked him with a man on in scoring position.
Well, we know the Indians have to find a way to score some runs, and they're beginning this year in historic levels of ineptitude, if you will, because it's been almost 50 years since the Indians went 14 games to start a season and never scoring more than 6 runs in a ball game. So that has to improve to have any chance against this Tigers club. But in the meantime, you need your pitching to hold those bats down for Detroit, and Danny Salazar gets the start coming off a great game against Minnesota.
Boy, he had a terrific feel for his changeup in his last start. He had 10 strikeouts, and he was mowing them down. He only threw about 2 sliders in that game, but he mixed in his good 4-seam fastball with an outstanding changeup. He's going to need at least 2 pitches to face this Tigers lineup today. He'll be making his career-high 6th start against any other team. He started more against the Tigers, but he will be facing a tough right-hander in Shane Green, who is 3-0 this year in his 3 starts. Allowed only 2 runs, 1 of them earned, but this guy has been a strike-throwing machine. He keeps the ball on the ground. He's got a 4-seam fastball. He's got the sinker. He can cut it, and he also has a good slow curveball, but he's been very good for the Tigers. But the left-handed bats of the Cleveland Indians are going to have to do something about that today. Pitched one other game against them. He was with the Yankees last year, and he beat the Indians.
Well, the Indians need the bats to break out, and we'll hope that happens here tonight. It's the Indians and the Tigers, and we'll be back with the play-by-play. Tonight's first pitch. It's coming up next. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud sponsors of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Clear skies, chilly temperatures here in Detroit, Michigan. Comerica Park, Indians, Tigers ready to rock and roll here in game one of their three-game series. Let's go downstairs to Andre Knott, who has more on the Indians' offense and their need to get something going, especially at the top.
Absolutely, Matt. The combined average for the first five guys in the Indians' order today is 209. It's bad enough that Michael Bourne was the first guy here today at 1 o'clock for early batting practice. He told me after the last game, he goes, look, we got to stop talking about it's early, because he goes, early could become a trend for the whole year, and he wants that to stop starting tonight. As I said, they were here for early batting practice at 1 o'clock, and he's been in the circle to get ready for the game for about the last 5 minutes. The Indians are ready to go, and they know the top of the order has to start hitting, and soon.
All right, we'll see if Michael Bourne can get it started, be the igniter at the top of the lineup here tonight. And let's have a look at the rest of the Tribe starting nine tonight. Brought to you by Progressive Insurance under Tribe skipper Terry Francona. Jason Kipnis follows Bourne. Then it's Michael Brantley. Carlos Santana batting cleanup. Brandon Moss hits fifth. Then it's David Murphy, Lonnie Chisenhall, Roberto Perez, and Jose Ramirez. 8 left-handed bats in there tonight against the right-hander, Shane Green.
Tonight's Northern Ohio Honda dealer's starting pitcher is Shane Green for the Tigers, and off to a tremendous start this year. In his 3 starts, 3-0, .39 ERA. He's given up just 12 hits in his 23 innings pitched, has walked 5, struck out 11. He hasn't given up many hits. Right-handers are hitting 132 this year, while left-handers are hitting 189, but this guy seems to keep it on the ground. He's been throwing an awful lot of strikes, and he's been pitching deep into the ball game.
Michael Bourne digs in. We're ready to go. Shane Green delivers, and our first pitch of the night in there for a called strike. Michael Bourne, in his last 3 games, has gone 3 for 11 with a run scored. Right back to Green. 1 away.
Let's check out the Tigers defense, brought to you by Chrysler. Behind Shane Green this evening in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Cespedes, Gose, and J.D. Martinez. On the infield, Castellanos is at third, Iglesias at short, Kinsler at second, Cabrera at first, Avila doing the catching.
Marvin Hudson behind the plate tonight. Chad Fairchild at first, the crew chief Jim Joyce at second base, and Greg Gibson down at third. Jason Kipnis takes a strike. Kipnis has collected 5 hits in his last 5 games with a couple of runs driven in. And he takes over the outside corner and quickly in the hole 0-2.
Well, you can see he has good movement going down with the baseball, and when you start looking down in the zone, that's when he can ride his 4-seamer up.
Tried to run that sinker over the inside corner and just missed. Right back to Green. He knocks this one down. Recovers in time. 2 away. Our window system's game time temperature tonight is 52 degrees. A little breezy, wind blowing in from left and left center field. It's one of those deals where it says 52, but it feels a lot colder than that.
It sure does. It looks nice. The sun is out. It's blue skies.
Michael Brantley. 2 down, bases empty here in the first, just underway. Takes at the knees, outside corner. .23 innings of work. Green has walked 5, but he is a guy that will throw a lot of strikes, work ahead in the count, and Michael Brantley yanks it right back up the middle, and the Indians had their first base runner, a 2-out single here in the first. Our keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. So important, especially against Detroit, for the Indians to get the early lead, because in Cleveland, the Tigers played from in front. I think they scored in the first inning in all 3 games.
Yeah, they jumped up early and they stayed ahead.
And, you know, Danny Salazar is going to have to pitch well. And what do you do with Miguel Cabrera? Well, when you can, pitch around him. But in order to be able to do that, you got to keep some of those guys in front of him off the bases.
Yeah, the table setters. And normally, the way this series goes, you're going to have to score 4 or 5 runs if you want to beat the Tigers, because they seem to score at least 4 or 5 every game against the Indians.
Brantley draws a throw, but not much of a lead.
Green has made 1 start against the Indians. That came last year when he was a New York Yankee. He went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and a couple of runs. He did get the win. He's 26 years old. Came over in a 3-way deal from the Yankees, the Diamondbacks.
He's off to a phenomenal start. Going 3-0 with an ERA of just .039. He's given up 1 run, 1 earned run.
Yeah.
Pitch low and away, and Santana patiently gets himself into a good count here, 3-0.
And somebody was going to have to step up in that Tigers rotation, with Verlander going on the DL for the first time in his career.
Santana taking all the way. It's ball 4, and the Indians have 2 base runners with 2 outs here in the first inning. In the driver's seat is courtesy of Kia. Shane Green, the first Tigers pitcher to start the season with 3 starts of 7 or more innings, 1 earned run or less since 1984 when Jack Morris did it. Brandon Moss drives one to left center field. That's in the alley. That'll go a long way. Around third, scoring is Michael Brantley. Carlos Santana coming around third. He scores 2 as Brandon Moss delivers with a 2-out, 2-run double, and the Indians will indeed play from in front tonight. Moss with his 4th double of the year, RBIs number 3 and 4. And all of this after 2 men were out, nobody on base. Brantley the single, Santana the 4-pitch walk, and Moss jumps on the first pitch, Rick.
Well, and plugs the gap in left center field. You like to see that approach right there, and this is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. Nobody out on and 2 outs, and they are able to push 2 across for an early 2-0 lead, just what the doctor ordered here.
Now up comes David Murphy, and he looks at a strike over the outside corner. The 0-1 pitch. Kind of a half swing, but he went around. And Murphy in the hole 0-2. Boy, how many times you see a guy walk on 4 pitches? Next guy up swings at the first pitch, makes it out, and say, oh, you can't swing at the first pitch after he just walked somebody on 4 straight. But Moss, he liked what he saw, and he got after it.
Well, I'm sure they were looking at video, and he was pounding the strike zone. You know, he only had 5 walks so far to that point, and then as a hitter, you keyhole him and you look for a ball you like and jump on the first pitch, and he did, but he stayed on the baseball. He didn't try to pull it.
On this road trip, that's Moss's 3rd double of the 4 he's hit this year.
I mean, when you look at the numbers for the Indians with hitting with runners in scoring position, it's been terrible so far to this point. They were hitting just about 200. Well,
and I think that's been a big
part of the offensive problems. The 11 home runs they've hit have all been solo shots. When they've had guys on base, they just haven't been able to generate many rallies. But a 2-out rally here in the first, a sight for sore eyes.
Yeah, back in Chicago, 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position. They are now 19 for 98. So they have to start getting a couple of big hits, and maybe that'll relieve a little tension throughout the rest of the lineup.
1-2 pitch to Murphy. Banks one up the middle. Iglesias cuts it off. Throws him out. And the inning is over. But Brandon Moss delivers with a big 2-out, 2-run double in the Tribe. Grabs the early lead. The Tigers are coming to bat. Moss gives the Indians the early lead. And now here are the Tigers. And the starting lineup for Detroit is brought to you by Toyota. Anthony Goes will lead it off. Then it's Ian Kinsler, followed by Miguel Cabrera. Oh, what a series he had against the Indians earlier. Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, Yoenis Cespedes in the middle. Then it's Alex Avila, Nick Castellanos, and Jose Iglesias batting ninth.
Northern Ohio Honda dealer starting pitcher is going to be Danny Salazar for the Tribe tonight. He had a nice start against the Minnesota Twins. His last outing, he went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, a couple runs, struck out 10 and walked 2. Had a very good changeup. See if he tries to establish that pitch early.
Anthony Ghost jumps on the first fastball but fouls it out of play.
Salazar will be making his 6th career start against the Tigers. That's the most against any opponent in his 3rd year.
Yeah, he's really held his own in the games he's pitched against Detroit. Hasn't been able to pitch, deep in any of those games for the most part. A little over 5 innings on average. But this is a lineup that makes it tough for guys to get deep into a game.
They make you work very hard as a pitcher.
Good pitch. Fastball blew it right by him. Salazar strikes him out. That's 11 punch outs for Danny now, and 6 1/3 innings on the year.
Check out the defense brought to you by Chrysler. It'll be Brantley, Bourne, and Moss in the outfield. Chisenhall, Ramirez, Kipnis, and Santana on the infield with Perez doing the catching.
Ian Kinsler. Kinsler batting .262 to start the year.
Well, when Detroit came to Cleveland, they put a clinic on when it comes to hitting. I mean, 8 runs in every game. They had scored 9 in one of them. But they seem to use the middle of the field and go the other way. Everybody never pulling off pitches. staying on them, and collectively as a team, it was a clinic.
Well, you do wonder, Rick, as much talent as they have, and they have lofty expectations like the other teams in the Central Division all do. But now they've kind of been punched in the mouth for the first time this year. Losers of 3 in a row for the first time this season. How will they respond?
Well, the Yankees came in here and pitched them tough. There were a lot of low-scoring games. The temperatures and the weather not really conducive. It's chilly, cold, and a lot of the hitters. Not a lot of people like to hit in the cold weather.
Fouled back by Kinsler. 2-2 the count.
A lot of low-scoring one-run games. But that's it's nice when you jump out early. And right now, what you want to do is have a shutdown inning if you're Danny Salazar.
Blowing away, full count. Well, it's a great sign to see Salazar coming out here and in the first inning. The fastball has great velocity. 3-2 pitch. Just missed. And it's ball 4, a 1-out walk.
Take a look at this fastball away on our Nissan pitch tracker. It is off the dish and it is outside, and he didn't bite. But so far, 10 for 10 for Salazar, all fastballs. Trying to get a feel for that pitch and locate it.
Now here's Miguel Cabrera. And a fastball at the knees, right on the outside corner, strike 1.
Cabrera, guy, he will start swinging from the very first pitch. You can see he gets better when you get guys on the pillows out there. And you have to pitch to him. That's why it's nice to face him when you can, you don't have to be so fine and throw him strikes. Sometimes he will expand, not too often.
Out of play. And it's 0-2. All heaters so far from Salazar. And Rick told you it's not exactly ideal hitting conditions, and you got to be really geared up to go out first at bat and face 97, 96 miles an hour.
It's been tough everywhere, all over the Midwest.
Keeping a close eye on Kinsler, who has 1 steal on the year.
This isn't nice weather to run in or try and steal a base either, but those are the things you have to do in this kind of weather. Little things.
That bad pitch took off a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2, and that's up high again.
The last couple of pitches, he's really rearing back and trying to get him to swing at something, but he's losing a little bit of control with it. It certainly is nice when you can get ahead of a guy like this and hopefully expand his strike zone, but those are pitches that he can't swing at.
Now Salazar ready with the 2-2. And a toss to first instead as Kinsler gets back safely. Tigers, a different ball club than in recent years. They're 3rd in the American League in stolen bases. Now, will that hold up over the course of the whole year? Who knows? But they have more speed throughout their lineup than they've had in recent years.
Yes, they do.
To right field. blooped. Going to be a tough play, and nobody's going to get it. Moss grabs it. He's going to gun for third, but the throw is not in time as Kinsler aggressively broke on the ball, and he saw that nobody was going to be able to make the catch.
It was a great read by Ian Kinsler on that ball that Cabrera hit. Even when he doesn't hit it hard, he finds a way to get hits. This is a slider or that little changeup. I don't know. It backed up or it came in, but he muscles it. And Kinsler's read, look at it. He was 3/4 of the way down and realized it was going to fall. Hustles his way into third base, so they'll have runners at the corners now.
And one out for Victor Martinez. Victor tweaked his left knee when the Indians faced the Tigers back in Cleveland. That's the knee that he had surgery on late this past offseason. Netta hit him. Now the bases are loaded.
No. Victor's on that dish. He likes to get on top of that plate and hang over it. And the first pitch by Salazar, he couldn't get out of the way. That ball wasn't that far inside, but it clips him on the back of the arm. And it'll now load the bases. After getting the first strikeout, a walk to Kinsler on a 3-2 pitch, had Cabrera down in the count. He fights one off and bloops it into first and third, and then a hit batter. So Detroit trying to come back and answer.
J.D. Martinez already with 5 homers and a dozen runs batted in. So far, it's been a case where Martinez has cleaned up anything that Miguel Cabrera has left.
Yeah. And then you get through him, and you still got another guy that would hit fourth in any lineup, and Sussman is on deck. Right now, I'd love to get that ground ball double play.
That's what hurt the Tigers in their series against the Yankees. They hit into 9 double plays in the series against New York, in which they lost 3 out of 4. And a strike call. Now, Danny, not necessarily a ground ball pitcher.
No.
But that doesn't mean he can't get somebody to hit one on the ground. Martinez has not hit into a double play yet this year, but he has struck out a team-high 16 times. Back out of play. Wow. Danny has absolutely dominated J.D. Martinez thus far. 0 for 6 strikeouts.
Well, he has an opportunity to get one right here ahead in the count.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out with another great fastball at 97 miles an hour. 2 down here in the first.
He located every pitch here. Let's check it out. Our Circle K strikeout. We'll look at the sequence. Fastball, throws it by him. Nice pitch right there, located. He fouled the high one off and then one right back away on the outside edge to get the strikeout. Now has an opportunity to get out of the inning.
Yoenis Cespedes will be the batter. And batting 6th in this lineup, you can see there he is flourishing. Bases loaded, 2 down. Fastball outside, ball 1.
This is that lineup. Even though he's been able to get ahead, you can see he's at 21 pitches in the inning, but a chance to get out of it.
Those are some scary numbers right there. Drilled to center, deep center, borne back, racing back onto the track, makes the catch. Probably a home run in just about any other park but this one. And Michael Bourne saves the day with a terrific play to end the first. The Indians lead it 2-0. Already lots of action in this one as we go to the second inning. Lonnie Chisenhall to lead it off. Shane Green gave up 1 earned run in his first 3 starts on the year, and the Indians jumped him for 2 in the first.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that was he had 2 out and nobody on. Hit a walk and a double.
Doing it the hard way, but they hold the lead thanks to good pitching by Danny Salazar and a nice defensive play by Michael Bourne. And that is just foul. Looked like first base umpire Chad Fairchild had to think about it for a second. Like, which way am I pointing here? Lonnie's trying to break out an 0 for 11. Another foul over toward the seats. Count stays a ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2.
Pretty much straight away for Chisenhall. Outfield may be shaded a little toward the left.
Hammered foul. Well, this is a kind of an at bat, and who knows how this is going to end, but you know, you get some swings, you foul some pitches off.
Yeah, anytime you can get that first at bat and you put a few good swings on the guy and you get to see a number of his pitches, even if it's you know, it ends up in and out, you still feel good about yourself in the batter's box.
4 pitches down and in, a couple away, one that last one upstairs. And that one's away, and Chisenhall tried to shoot it that way. It's a fair ball. He got a late break out of the box, but he's still going to get easily into second base with a leadoff double.
Now, that pitch looked like it was off the plate. He's been pulling a couple pitches foul. The Indians with their second double. Let's take a look at this pitch. It's upstairs a little bit. That enabled him. He thought it was foul, but it stayed fair. That was off the dish, probably for a ball. Rifles it down into the corner for Chisenhall, his second double of the year. The third hit for the Indians.
Now that's just what he needed. We'll see if that gets him rolling offensively. Now Roberto Perez, another guy who could use a hit. He's 0 for his last 10. He squares, bunts it, well done. The pitcher, Green, will fire to first, and Perez is out after colliding with Cabrera.
Well, Cabrera had to come up the line and was in the middle of the bag, and it's like hitting a cement wall. He bounced back. The throw to first by Green, you can see it's up the line right into Perez, and there you go. Good job. You got the runner to third base. Now you got to pick him up.
Tell you what, if Roberto Perez would have gone down there with a full head of steam, Shane Green could have got Miguel Cabrera seriously hurt there, because he's trying to make the catch, but he put himself
that was not
in an awkward spot.
Yeah.
Here's Jose Ramirez now with the infield in. Fouls the first pitch back out of play.
Well, he's a ground ball guy, and then they figure, okay, we're going to pull the infield in and try and cut this run off. So you look for a pitch to elevate if you can, and you're a hitter. Started him off with a breaking ball. That's what I don't think it's a good pitch to swing at in this situation.
Upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1 to left field. Cespedes over near the line will make the catch, tagging his Lonnie Chisenhall. He'll come home and score, and the Indians' lead is now 3-0.
There you go. Get a pitch you can elevate. He does, and he stayed on it nicely and drives it to left field. Even though you have the great arm at Cespedes, I think he was thinking about making a throw, Matt, but the grip just didn't feel right. And he wisely decides to hold on. So they get him on, get him over, and get him in to add on here for Ramirez, his second RBI of the year.
Well, it's just good fundamental execution. As you pointed out, you get him on, you get him over, you get him in.
Watch, he wants to throw. He knows he's got a good arm, but watch the transfer. Just wasn't there. You don't get the feel. Maybe a little chilly. Not sure. Not that he would have had him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about pretty good speed. Michael Bourne not happy at all about that last call by Marvin Hudson. And he's letting him hear it.
All right. You got to stay in the game, make your point, get back in.
A little bit high.
Let's look at this pitch that he was talking about. That ball going well off the plate. It was outside. He's got a complaint. You can't show him up. You got to get your point across and get back in.
Down and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him and gets the strikeout. But the Indians get another run in. Lead it 3-0 middle of the second.
Back in 2015 with the MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. You can stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
Bottom of the second inning, Alex Avila to lead off for Detroit. The knees, a fastball in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Swung on and missed. There was a good off-speed pitch.
Change up.
You know, we talked about the fact that he's going to need. You know, he had a great changeup against the Minnesota Twins, and it's just a difference maker for him.
You know what? The first inning, I can see he wants to establish his fastball and get a feel for it. You know what? And a lot of times when you go through that lineup the first time, a starter won't show a lot of guys their pitches, but he's got to get a feel for that for the second and third time he's going to go through this lineup. He had a great one. It was going down. He had very good command with it in Minnesota, and threw a good one right there. And then that makes that pitch that much better.
98 miles an hour, and Salazar with his 3rd strikeout of the night. 1 down here in the second. Andre, you were talking about the need for him to be able to throw that changeup as being an opportunity for him to be successful tonight.
Absolutely. You know, I'm talking to Tito Francona. He was blown away by the 22 swings and misses that Danny had against Minnesota. And he says, look, if he's going to mature as a pitcher, the 98, 96 mile per hour fastball is great, but he's got to establish something else off speed. If he can do that, he's a top of the line rotation pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. And that's Terry Francona saying that. He goes, he's got to develop that second pitch.
Well, I know Terry and Mickey want to see him come back and do it with this lineup here, too.
Castellanos drives one of those fastballs deep and out of here. Well, he's the 8th hitter in the lineup. He's been watching the way Salazar's been pitching. And he finally was able to time one of those fastballs up. His 2nd home run of the year gets the Tigers on the board.
Well, let's look at the location of this pitch, too, and see. It's a fastball, and it's right there. I mean, you have to stay out of the middle of the plate. I know you throw hard, the big league hitters. You find his nitro zone, and they go the other way, and he hit that one really well. Gets it into the seats and gets the Tigers on the board with their 1st run.
Here is Jose Iglesias.
You know, solo home runs, that's okay. He was aggressive. He went at him, and that guy took him out of the ballpark. So just stay out of the middle of the dish.
He tries to shoot it over the head of Jason Kipnis, who says not so fast. Kipnis able to hang on to that line drive for out number 2.
Well, it was one of those plays he had to go to his left before he could really jump up, and he got up as high as he could and ends up flagging this one down. Good, well-timed leap. Take a hit away from Iglesias.
Yeah, he just did have enough vertical to get
he had to move to his left first before he could jump. If he could stay planted and jump straight up, he would have gotten a lot higher.
Anthony Ghost struck out his 1st time up.
I think that's why he was laughing after that catch. Yeah, you talked about Detroit, Matt, having a little more speed, a little more better defense this year. Ghost certainly adds to that. He can get on base, he can run. You have Kinsler, you have Rajai Davis, who's not playing today, that has some speed.
And Ghost dumps one into right field for a base hit.
Makes them a little more of an athletic team than they used to be, a station to station base. They just pound you into submission.
Stat of the game is brought to you by Buick. Among qualifying batters, those who have enough plate appearances per game, The Indians have 6 players who qualify, all below the 225 mark. The Tigers have 6 qualifying. 3 of the 6 are hitting over 310, including Jose Iglesias, who lined out earlier in the inning, who's second in the league in batting average coming into tonight. Ian Kinsler walked his first time up. Close play at first that time.
It's okay. Keep him close. You got to pay attention.
Ghost has a stolen base. He's also been caught once. Throw to first, and another close play.
Yeah, he's going to stay a little closer to that bag. They're doing it on both ends. Pretty good throw there. Just that Santana had to turn around to try and tag him. He just does get the hand in.
A little bit outside, 2-0.
Right now, for me, if I'm the Tigers and Ghost, I would stay put. Give Kinsler a chance to hit because you got Cabrera on deck and he has the count in his favor, so he could sit on one pitch.
Now Kinsler walked his first time up, and he's sitting 2-0 this time. Delayed steal.
Yep.
And it's an easy steal for Ghost. Boy, he took off.
He caught Kipnis sleeping. Is what happened. It's a delayed steal. You shuffle, you wait till the ball gets into the catchers. I don't think it fooled Roberto Perez. He was ready to throw, but there's nobody at second base. Watch Kipnis. He's caught flat-footed by that time, and by the time the throw comes down, he's nowhere in sight. And that's a good steal by Ghost. He delayed. Delayed steal, it pays off.
Kinsler taking all the way on 3-0, and it's a low strike.
Watch him shuffle, shuffle, go. Boom. There he is. That's a well-timed, and you catch the infielders napping. That's exactly what he did.
Now the 3-1 pitch, and that's ball 4. Now you got to face Cabrera with 2 on base.
Second time he has walked Kinsler.
That's the tough one. That's the one that you have a hard time wrapping your head around. When you've got the best hitter on the planet, you got to go at the guy in front of him.
You got to be a little more aggressive, yes. Even though the base runner, they were keeping him close, you have to throw him strikes.
Cabrera blooped one into right field his first time up.
And I'm thinking that was the changeup that he hit, that pitch that was coming in. It was the only off-speed pitch in that at-bat that he blooped in front of Moss in right field.
There's a good off-speed pitch. Yeah, 40 pitches in. It's been all fastballs to this point, with just a smattering.
Yeah, but now is when you have to start working in the off-speed pitches. When you get into situations like this that you have to get out of the inning when they've got good hitters with runners in scoring position. You can't just live with one.
Borderline pitch, outside corner, called a strike. Anthony Gose, Ian Kinsler, the base runners. Oh, he ran the fastball in on his thumbs, and Cabrera strikes out to end the inning. 4th strikeout for Danny Salazar. Tigers get one on the board. Indians lead it, though, 3-1. Danny Salazar, Roberto Perez talking it over in the dugout. Indians with a 3-1 lead as we go to the 3rd inning, and Jason Kipnis will lead it off.
He's looking out there like he doesn't like that pitch. He has something to say about it as well. Bourne did in his last at bat.
Kipnis trying to bloop one the other way, and he will for a base hit.
Tried to run the breaking ball in on him, and nothing wrong when you're a hitter to get jammed. There's a perfect place right there. You get jammed by the slider and fight it off.
Rick, let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by the injury attorneys at Elk & Elk. Joe Nathan done for the year. He'll have Tommy John surgery. Justin Verlander still on the DL. Bruce Rondon, many feel could be the answer to the Tigers' bullpen problems if he can come back and get healthy. Rondon's a guy who can throw it triple digits. Zach Walters came off the DL, and he's now down in AAA.
Yeah, that's asking an awful lot for a guy that didn't even pitch last year to come back and be your savior, you know?
True.
I mean, the hopes are there because they need bullpen help. There's no doubt, and I can see that. But in reality, when you miss a whole year to come back and be lights out, hard to do.
Michael Brantley with the 2 outs and the bases empty in the 1st inning, lined a single right back up the middle. And that would spark a 2-run rally for Cleveland as they grab the early lead.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane Green has ever had to face 8 left-handers in a lineup before.
Ground ball. Kinsler diving stop. And his only play is going to be at first as he gets Brantley. And it was a terrific stop by Kinsler just to take the hit away from Brantley.
It was a smart play, really, because he wanted to go get the lead runner. And then once he doesn't come up with it cleanly, he realizes I have to get the out. But it is a very nice play. Goes down, and you see he never caught it cleanly. He thought about it and says, nope, just let me get the out. Takes a base hit away from Michael, but Kipnis moves up into scoring position.
Now here's Carlos Santana, who walked on 4 pitches his first time up. You know, that first at bat, it almost looked like one of those deals where it was late in the game and he had a base open. The way he pitched Santana was like he was working around it, but you wouldn't normally think that's the approach first inning of a game.
Not with 2 outs. You did have a runner on first base, but that was it.
That proved to be costly for Green. Santana plugs one deep left center field. Cespedes a long run back in. He'll make the catch. Kipnis has to hold at second base, 2 down. Joe Nathan was at AAA Toledo pitching for the Mud Hens, and you can see him right there saying something does not feel right.
That's it. He tried to come back, and he's 40 years old, and he still feels like, hey, even though he's got to go through his second Tommy John surgery, he feels like he's going to have a chance to come back.
Well, he's in the dugout tonight. I saw him down there earlier. Throw back, but Kipnis alertly is back in time. Well, Brandon Moss delivered the big 2-out hit in the first inning. Can he do it again here in the third?
You look at Brandon Moss, he's had a lot of success in this ballpark. He is now 18 for 39. This being the 11th game he's played here, so he feels very comfortable. He stepped right up to the dish with 2 outs and hit a 2-run double in the first. This could be something he needs to get going. And the thing you like about that, it was left center field. His home run in Minnesota, his first of the year, came to left field.
The 1-0. Moss pops it up left field. Cespedes, routine play, and the inning is over. No runs ahead, a man left. Middle of the third in Detroit. Indians 3, Tigers 1. Night to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. 3-1 Indians on top, bottom of the third. Victor Martinez, J.D. Martinez, and Yoenis Cespedes due up for Detroit. Danny Salazar has struck out 4 in the first 2 innings here tonight. And already in his young career, he has averaged almost 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. That is 4th highest all time among pitchers who made at least 30 starts.
Well, he definitely has a great arm, but the key is consistency. Can you do it time and time again to be a starter?
And think about Rick. He's done this primarily on one pitch. I mean, his changeup has still been a developing pitch, but
well, and he does have a slider, but it seems like he's getting a better feel for that changeup than his slider. In that game against Minnesota, he only threw 2 sliders.
See, Victor still,
yeah, he can't get out of that out of the way. That left knee.
You almost wonder if part of it is, when you're in a batting stance like that, you're putting weight, and that left knee sort of locks up a little bit, and if you've got to move suddenly on something that's already hurt a little bit.
He re-hurt it in Cleveland, if you remember. He took a big swing and that thing buckled. I'm sure he's got the brace on it for support, but the harder he swings, sometimes I'll bet the more pressure he puts on, because that's staying back on the baseball. He just didn't have it. It's an arm swing here. See, he gets on that front foot, and he picks up the back leg, and that's the pitch you drive on a baseball, and he can't do it because it's not there.
Does make you wonder. I mean,
from this side of the plate, it's going to be tough for him to drive the ball, I would think. Well, I guess maybe I'm wrong.
Brandon Moss with a diving catch in right field. Boy, an outstanding effort by Moss, who came flying in and had to go to the all-out dive, and he keeps Martinez off the bases to start the bottom of the third.
Well timed. Check it out on our Wendy slow motion replay. He comes in, got a beat on it. He says, I got to go. I got to get down and catch that ball, get down and dirty. Good play. Keep that leadoff man off base.
One away for J.D. Martinez, and he's way out in front of that changeup. One ball, one strike. Boy, he's staying with the off-speed pitches this time to Martinez after he struck him out the first time with nothing but blazing fastball.
Yeah, so now you get geared up for the fastball, and look at that nice location. He didn't overthrow it, had good arm speed to it.
That fastball hit up the middle, 99 miles an hour. Sometimes I'm amazed they can even make contact. Especially after the previous one was like a Bugs Bunny changeup.
Yeah, but hitters,
they're geared for the fastball.
They're geared for the fastball, and you have to sit on Salazar's fastball. You have no chance to hit it. But if he has one pitch, which he does, that can take him off that fastball and put some doubt in a hitter's mind, it keeps them from just cheating early to swing at only one pitch.
Yoenis Cespedes flied to deep center his first time up.
He can hit it there all day long, because if you hit it out in center field, boy, you need a driver, a tee, and a little white golf ball to get it over there. Oh, right between his legs.
Oh, what a play by Kipnis, and he throws him out.
Oh, man.
Holy smokes, pinball baseball. Did that hit the pitching rubber?
I don't know.
Hang on there long. I think it hit the rubber to Kipnis with a great play to end the inning. As we go to the fourth inning. Chilly temperatures have kept a few folks away from this one tonight. Well, it looks like the wind has died down, so game top temperature, what, 52 degrees. It's currently sitting at 50.
Yeah, but they're still bundled up. They have some layers on. Smart.
David Murphy fouls a pitch back, and it's 1-1. Indians got 2 in the first, 1 in the second. Had their leadoff man aboard in the third, but could not get that clutch hit to get him home. On the other side of the ledger, Tigers had bases loaded, 1 out in the first. Salazar pitched out of the jam. And they had 2 on, 2 out in the second. And they were unable to get their clutch 2-out hit. Their only run came on a solo homer by Castellanos in the second.
And then some Indians defense in the third.
Wow. Mark those ones down for the highlight reel at the end of the year. One-two pitch. I don't remember who it was. Somebody made a great play in a game I was watching the other day. Might have been on the MLB network, but they were talking about it being a great play, and somebody said, "You think that'll be the best play of the year?" As Murphy grounds one toward Iglesias, it's going to be a tough play. He has to unload in a hurry, and Murphy beats it out. So David Murphy with an infield single. In a case there where I think because of the shift alignment, they couldn't get to it.
That's right. Iglesias was playing him up the middle. Look. And then it's hit, and he has to circle around to try and get the ball and get the timing right, and Murphy just beats it out. So the Indians have had a hit in every inning now.
Point being that somebody said, well, there's so many more games to be played. By the end of the year, there'll certainly be a better play than that one. I thought wasn't the case with Mark Burley a few years ago on opening day. He made the play of the year against the Indians.
That wasn't the kid from Colorado going down the line with San Francisco catching the ball on the tarp.
That's exactly Arredondo. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Cespedes in the foul ground. He'll make the catch here. All right, take another look at the play that ended the third inning. Line shot right back at Salazar. Hit the top of the mound. I thought maybe it hit the pitching rubber, but it looked like it hit just in front of it.
Yeah, that went right between his legs, and it went high because it hit on the upslope of the mound. And Kipnis made a nice play. He got up that time. He's saying, I had some hops that time. That line drive I did, but that one I did. Good play. Moss made a good play in the inning as well.
Roberto Perez, a sacrifice bunt, his first time up.
You know, you talk about good plays. There's good plays made every single day. To rank one the best is hard to do throughout the course of the year. The kid in Toronto made a catch over the wall earlier this year in left field. Pilar. He went up and over, and you're not going to see a better catch than that on the timing or anything. There's just so many great plays made now. We just happen to see them all.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah.
You know, you never used to see them, and then if they did have one on video, you could see it. It was great, you know, and then it stood out. But you see them every day.
David Murphy at first. Perez down on the count, 1-2. Right back up the middle, it nails Green.
Wow.
He's able to recover and starts an inning-ending double play. Wow, Perez hit it hard. Not sure where it struck Shane Green.
Backside.
But didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, he had to pull it out of his back pocket. That'll be May 1st after the Kansas City Royals come to town. But you can buy lower box or lower reserve tickets for that game by April 27th, and you'll save 25%. How about that? So that's for the Blue Jays for a 4-game series. Visit Indians.com.
Danny Salazar, after a 1-2-3 third inning, goes to work here in the fourth. Bottom third of the order due up for the Tigers. A little bit low, ball one. Two balls, no strikes. Alex Avila struck out his first time up. Well located fastball. And the count now 2 balls and a strike. Out of play. Well, like his first start, we've seen Salazar maintain his tempo and stay in rhythm.
That's the thing you talked about when we were in Minnesota, his rhythm. He was getting the ball. He was staying around the rubber within the, 16, 17 seconds?
12 to 15 is where they'd like him to be. Just blew it right by him. Alex Avila, strikeout victim number 5. He's gone down twice tonight via the K. 1 gone in the fourth.
Well, there you go. There's a high heater, belt high. Not many guys are going to catch up to it. If you hit it, you may foul it off. And Alex Avila is a good low ball hitter, but that's a pitch that looks so good because you can see it coming out of his hand. You just can't catch up to it.
Well, Nick Castellanos homered his first time up.
There's a changeup. And what happened? He hit a bad Salazar pitch. Salazar had some mustard on him, but he threw it right down the middle. Castellanos had found his happy spot, in his happy zone. He hit it to right center field.
It might have been a slider from Salazar, or just a changeup that
he just
overthrew it a little bit.
See, that's the whole thing. You don't want Danny, when he overthrows, he loses command. But boy, when he stays within himself, that's why I think that fastball changeup combination is so good for him, because he doesn't overthrow. Look at that. That's a beautiful pitch right there.
And like you said, you're geared to hit mid-90s fastball, and all of a sudden the bottom falls out.
Yeah, it just disappears. There's another one, and look at the swing.
From the outfield grass, Ramirez throws him out, 2 down. Time now for our Levin player profile. Jose Iglesias coming to the plate with 2 down on the bases empty. Defected from Cuba, and he was a young player. He was in Cuba's top league as a 17-year-old when he defected at the World Championships, the World Junior Championships. And then a year later, he signed with the Red Sox. He was only 19 years old at the time. And then he ended up here in Detroit when a lot of players changed hands. That was that deadline deal 2 years ago. The Red Sox got Jake Peavy from Chicago. That was also the same trade that Avisail Garcia went from Detroit to Chicago. Iglesias ended up here in Detroit. Two-out base runner now.
Sounded like it was a pretty good trade for everybody but Boston, because the White Sox liked it with Garcia going there, and these guys liked it even though Iglesias missed last season because of shin splints and fractures in his legs there. But he's back. We'll see if he stays healthy, but he's quite a defender. And Peavy's over in the DL in San Francisco.
Yeah, Peavy only pitched, the last couple of months of that season with Boston.
Right.
And then went the next year to San Fran?
Well, yeah, after he got off to a rough start last year.
That's pushed foul out of play. Anthony Gose struck out of the first, singled, stole a base, but was stranded at second in inning number 2.
Well, these guys are going to talk. You can't pay a whole lot of attention to Iglesias at first base. He had the first 2 guys out, and he walked them on 4 straight pitches. That's the bottom part of the lineup you want to get out. Don't worry about him. Get the hitter out before you have to get in and start messing with the middle part of the lineup. Iglesias has stolen 4 out of 5. I think if you get down to 2 strikes with Ghost now and you bury him in the count, that you may see him run. Now you might see him go.
Well, you remember a couple of years ago, Jose Iglesias had shin splints.
Yeah.
And it was a very serious case, caused him to miss almost all last year. Did he play it all last year? I don't think he did he?
No, I think he missed most of it. I think it happened in spring training.
Well, he played through it the year before, and that's why it never got better. Swing and a miss. Anthony Gose, no match. Danny Salazar with 6 strikeouts through 4 innings of action here in Detroit. He's mowing them down. Indians lead it 3-1. Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic. Call for an appointment today. And by the game-changing all-new Ford F-150. The future is tough. Indians lead the Tigers 3-1 as we go down to the 5th inning. Tribe jumped on Shane Green for 2 in the first, added a run in the second. They've had their leadoff man aboard each of the last 2 innings, but unable to cash in. Jose Ramirez drove in the Indians' last run in the second inning with a sacrifice fly to left field. One ball, one strike. 39 of the 55, or make that 40 out of 56 have been strikes for Shane Green. So that's about what we kind of expected from him.
Yeah, you know, in his first couple of starts, he went 8 innings in both starts, and, you know, just not a lot of pitches. He had 85 pitches in 8 innings in his first start, 81 in the second one out in Pittsburgh. In his last start, he went over the 100 mark for the first time, that covering 7 innings against the White Sox. So the Indians they're making him work. They're keeping him out of the stretch the last 3 innings. The leadoff man aboard, make it 4 in a row.
Jose Ramirez, well, solid line drive single into right field. 6th hit of the game for the Indians. Here's our in-game recap brought to you by Toyota. Brandon Moss with a 2-out, 2-run double in the first. Gave the Indians the lead, and Ramirez with a sac fly after Lonnie Chisenhall doubled to start the inning. They moved him over, got him in. Only run for the Tigers on a solo homer by Nick Castellanos in the second. Danny Salazar has struck out 6 through his 4 innings of work. Now Michael Bourne.
This could be a good combination to start something here, too, with the speed of Ramirez at first base. Green, a ground ball guy. It looked like he was leaning a little bit.
Yeah, they're keeping a close eye on Ramirez. He's a perfect 3 for 3 in stolen bases on the year. He's not going. The pitch is low, ball 1. Michael Bourne's last time up. He got into it a little bit with home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. He and Hudson had looked like a rather animated conversation just before this inning began. Might have been the old "let's agree to disagree" conversation.
Well, you know, that's what happens though when you say so. If you do it nonchalantly and you just tell the umpire that's not a strike, that ball's outside, it's okay. But he showed a little emotion at the plate, and I think that's what they get upset about.
Understandable in Bourne's case, given that he's off to a slow start and he's frustrated.
Yeah, but you can't let the frustration build like that. You've got to go about your own business, because then you're beating for that at bat.
You don't want to turn that guy against you too, right?
No, you don't need the whole world against you. You're right. It's going bad enough.
Well, Michael's put himself in a good spot here now. 2-0 with a runner at first. Nobody out. He asked for time, didn't get it, and it's outside, ball 3.
See, he holds the ball. Green holds it well when you have a base stealer on. And he tried to call timeout, and you don't get it, and rightfully so, because he called it too late. But all of a sudden, Green just threw it out of the strike zone. So now 3-0. Got to take a strike here.
He couldn't throw it in the zone.
How about that?
A 4-pitch walk, and now Ramirez in the scoring position. Bourne down to first. And Brad Ausmus can't believe it.
Well, KeyBank Kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. They're located in the new family deck at Progressive Field, home to the expanded kids clubhouse. Just go to Indians.com and check it out. 4 pitches to Bourne. That's his second walk.
You know, maybe it's a case where Green just lost his command a little bit, but that might be one of those at-bats you chalk up to. That's what speed does that doesn't show up in the box score. He's thinking about Ramirez. He's thinking about all the things that they could maybe be doing in this scenario, and he ends up losing concentration.
Well, yeah, they've had base runners every inning, so he's been out of the stretch every single inning.
Getting the squares, pulls it back, and a called strike.
Well, you certainly would love to move him around here and add on in the 5th inning. Gibness didn't like that pitch to bunt, so you take it. Castellanos was staying at home, so if you're going to bunt it down the third baseline. You don't have to put a great bunt down because you've got great speed.
It stays fair. Castellanos picked it up on the chalk.
Why would he pick it up?
I thought if he'd have let it go, it might have gone foul.
You know, I thought he picked it up foul, but he didn't. Because the line runs right with the grass. Let's see. That ball is foul right now. Is it coming back? Oh, it came back to fair territory. How about that? Right on the line.
Who's arguing now? Miguel Cabrera? What's he arguing about?
I have no idea, but I'll tell you what. Castellanos is the guy that picked it up. That's going to go as a base hit for Kipnis. That ball looked like it was foul, and I thought he was going to let it go. But by the time he picked it up, that's why I thought it was foul.
Well, now Alex Avila in a lengthy conversation with home plate umpire Marvin Hudson.
Let's check it out. Now, see, he wants to find out from Avila what happened. He's asking the catcher, was it foul? Was it fair? Right there, it looks, now it's coming back. God, that's a tough angle to see.
It's right on the chalk. It's a fair ball when he picks it up.
Yeah, he touches it. It's on the line. That is a fair ball. I was just surprised he even touched it because it could have hit the cut of the grass and went back again. It doesn't. It goes as a bunt single for Kipnis. They have the bases loaded, nobody out, and an opportunity to have a huge inning.
And you can see the white chalk kick up as well. So no doubt about it. The right call was made. Just a kind of a weird play. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Michael Brantley at the plate. Indians up 3-1. Brantley with a line drive base hit into right field. Ramirez will score. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. And the Indians' lead is now 4-1 as Brantley gets his second hit of the night and his 5th run batted in on the year.
Oh, yeah. Take advantage. Now they've got an opportunity for a huge inning. Michael jumping on the first pitch. He knows he wants to get ahead of him. That's that little sinker that Michael put a good swing on, line drive. Everybody moves up a base, but they keep the train moving.
Remember, Shane Green had allowed 12 hits in 23 innings of work coming into tonight. And the Indians have already tagged him for 4 runs on 8 hits in this just the 5th inning with nobody out.
Yeah, the left-handers doing their thing tonight.
And Carlos Santana takes ball 1.
Oh, there we go. That's the angle we want to see. You see the spin coming back. That ball was foul, but he touched it when it was fair.
Well, now we know why he picked it up, because it was going to come back and probably stay fair. Because I thought maybe if he'd have just left it alone, that maybe it would have spun foul, but he must have saw it coming
with a
back.
left-hander and he bunts that way, you're going to have that spin that it may roll foul. This one seemed like it had the other spin, so Kipnis must have pushed it the other way.
Carlos Santana with the bases loaded and nobody out. Bullpen busy for Detroit. Santana takes. And it's 2-1. Alex Wilson, who was just called up, is the first man up for Detroit in the pen. 2-1 pitch. Wilson got the call up when Ian Kroll was sent down. Right now, all eyes on Shane Green as the Indians try to knock him out of the box here. 2-2. Popped up foul, out of play. Carlos Santana on this road trip has 3 hits. 2 of them have gone for home runs. But there's been a lot of at-bats that have not been productive for him. Trying to change that right here. And he drives on the right field. It might get over the head, and it will. Martinez will chase it to the wall. Bourne scores. Kipnis coming home. Brantley goes to third. It's a 2-run double for Carlos Santana. And the Indians now lead it 7-1.
Yeah. That fooled J.D. Martinez in right field. It looked like he took a step or 2 in, and that was rocketed over his head. Santana smokes this breaking ball. He gave him some swinging room. It was out over the plate, and it is by him before he knows it. And it's a double, and he is not retired a batter here in the 5th.
I think I said 7-1. 6-1 Indians. And that's going to be it for Shane Green.
So a guy that was unhittable in his first 3 starts is tattooed by the Indians tonight.
Green does not get a batter out here in the 5th inning, and the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. Brad Osmus calls for Alex Wilson. We got a timeout. Indians on top by 5. Well, Carlos Santana, he did in Shane Green with that 2-run double. In comes Alex Wilson. Wilson came over from Boston with Yoenis Cespedes in the Rick Porcello deal.
Yeah, they just made the move to call him up because they shipped out the left-hander.
Wow. Moss, blast off, deep right field, gone. A 3-run homer here in the 5th inning on the first pitch. Alex Wilson tosses. And the Indians have erupted for 6 in the 5th. And they now lead it 9-1.
Well, Brandon Moss loves this ballpark. That's 5 ribbies on the night. And he got a pitch to his liking, a 3-pointer. Oh, yeah, a little fastball. He dropped the head on that pitch and gave it a ride. I don't know if that was a cut fastball or what. Boy, that thing got out of here in a hurry.
It was cut by the time it landed in the seats. Boy, is this just with the doctor order or what? The Indians with their highest run output on the season.
Yeah, that ball coming off the bat over 100 miles an hour. 101 for Brandon Moss on his 2nd home run on the year, but his 5th RBI of the night.
And Shane Green tagged for 8 runs on 9 hits in his 4 innings tonight. David Murphy pops it foul out of play.
That's their first home run with a man on base. How about that? They had 11 straight solo shots, and they end it with a 3-pointer. I want to see more 3-pointers. I like those. NBA playoff time. That makes you feel right at home.
You're a Steph Curry guy. Well, you know, here's the thing. 2 things happen on that. One, it's their first multi-run homer of the season. And it also, on that same swing, gives them their highest run output in a game this year. They've gone 14 straight games to start the year with scoring 6 runs or less. They hadn't done that since 1967.
That's 3rd time that they've gotten 10 hits in a game this year. So keep it going, boy.
That's the first out of the inning. Well, Andre, the top of the order, the guys that get paid to do the damage, they're doing it tonight.
Yes, sir. We talked before the game about the top 5 hitters in the order for the Indians hitting 209. Tonight, guys, they're 7 of 13 so far with 8 RBI. Exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that's the kind of game you hope that just gets everybody relaxed, jump-started, confident.
Andre's down there finally feeling warm for a game down there, jumping around.
Lonnie Chisenhall takes ball 1. Well, the first 6 Indians all reached and all scored here in the 5th. And now Lonnie lines one to left field. It's right at Cespedes. 2 down. Now, Terry Francona has said all along, look, Brandon Moss is he's gonna get hot. He's gonna hit some home runs. Well, he's hot tonight with 5 runs batted in.
I just like how they've done it tonight. You get the leadoff man aboard in 4 straight innings. They keep they keep you working. You keep them out of the stretch. Green was unhittable for the most part. But like I said, there was 8 left-handers in there. It's just nice to see everybody keep hitting, keep going. And they're still trying to win the first game of a series this year, which they did very well when they were able to do that last year.
Now the 1-1. Tapper back to the mound. And the inning is over. But not before the Indians' offense erupts here in the 5th inning. Brantley, Santana, and Moss all mashing the night. 9-1 Cleveland. The Indians leading it by a score of 9-1. Bottom of the 5th inning. Ian Kinsler, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez due for Detroit. Tiger fans sitting in frozen, stunned silence tonight.
Yeah, that was a shocker. 6-run 5th inning. Against the pitcher who'd given up 1 earned run in his first 3 starts on the year. Yep, they jumped him early today in the 1st inning. It was a Moss 2-out double. So Danny Salazar has a little support now. He can go out there and concentrate on getting outs.
Three balls, no strikes. He's walked Kinsler twice already tonight. Right down Broadway. And back to a full count.
Yeah, and with Danny sitting in that dugout for a while, you come out here, you still pitch the same game you were doing. Mixing your pitches in. You're going now through the 3rd time in the lineup. Just because the score is 9-1 doesn't mean you quit throwing changeups and just stay with 1 pitch.
Kinsler bangs it right back up the middle. And that's just the 4th hit of the night for Detroit. There's our T-Mobile game changer. Highest average against the Indians. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez topped the list among guys with at least 200 at-bats.
Well, we'll see. Every player there except Ichiro is in the National League this year.
There's a fly ball to right field. Routine play for Moss. 1 away. Time now for a Mazda game break. Here's Al Pawlowski. All right, thanks, Al. Up comes Victor Martinez, hit by a pitch in the 1st inning on the arm, and then robbed of a hit by Brandon Moss, who made a diving catch in right field in the 3rd. To left field, Brantley, a long run over into foul territory, makes the catch. 2 down. Gear up for the 2nd annual Velosano Bike Ride for Cancer Research, July 17th through the 19th. There's an option for everybody. 6 different routes that start and finish in downtown Cleveland. 1- and 2-day rides are available, and every dollar raised by Velosano participants benefits cancer research at Cleveland Clinic. Spread the word and bike to cure. Velosano.org. You know, we focus so much on the numbers that Cabrera and Martinez have put up against the Indians, but kind of lost in the shuffle is the fact that Michael Brantley is now hitting .367 against the Tigers since 2012. So he's put up some pretty good numbers in this rivalry as well. 2 more hits tonight. He's got 76 hits, 270 bats since 2012. And so his average against Detroit ranks right up there with what Cabrera and Martinez had done against the Indians. Line just beyond the reach of Jose Ramirez. So 2 on, 2 out. And up comes Yoenis Cespedes.
He got on top of that one and drove it into left field. This guy, he had a good year against the Indians last year. but remember, that was his first hit against Danny Salazar. We showed you he had struck out 7 straight times. He grounded out, which was a moral victory. His last at bat and got a base hit there, so he's on the board.
Salazar delivers a little bit outside, ball 1. That's that big swing of Cespedes.
Cespedes, I believe you can run that fastball by him belt high and up with Salazar stuff. This guy, you can speed up his bat. He's a good off-speed hitter.
It is somewhat an embarrassment of riches for the Tigers in terms of their offensive lineup when J.D. Martinez and Yoenis Cespedes, who bat 5th and 6th, have combined for 25 of the team's runs batted in so far this year. Upstairs, 3-1.
Well, and it's like the pressure's taken off them. You know, they're just trying to do their thing. They're coming up with opportunities because Martinez and Cabrera, they're always on base, it seems like. So they're going to have many opportunities to do this. This is a really tough lineup to pitch to. It's deep, and you get down to the bottom and you think, okay, you've got a breath you can take. You can't. They keep it at you all game long.
Fouled back in a full count now for Cespedes.
Well, and it happens too when you have to face them 19 times a year. You know, they get to know your pitching a little bit. You get to know them, and it's a game of adjustments, and they're all pretty good hitters. They're veteran hitters. So you have to change your pattern.
The runners will be off on the payoff pitch, and a foul right back. I know the old saying is you don't want to get beat with your second best pitch, but it would seem that he's got him set up here for a changeup after he fouled off that high fastball.
Well, you have to throw him a strike. You can't walk anybody now in the 9-1 lead. You got to go at him. So most of the time there you go, the high heater.
Just blew him away with the high fastball, and that's 7 strikeouts for Danny Salazar. The Tigers strand 2 here in the 5th, and the Indians roll on 9-1. 9-1, Indians on top. As we go to the 6th inning, and here's our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Indians jumped on him in the 5th inning. The first 6 all reached, all scored, capped by the Brandon Moss 3-run homer as they knocked Shane Green out of the game. And the first pitch that Alex Wilson threw ended up in the cheap seats.
That was a fun inning to watch. They needed that.
They only batted, sent 9 men to the plate. So Ramirez leads off again for the 2nd inning in a row. This time he's retired 1 away. Top of the order in Michael Bourne. I wonder if they're playing nice in Chicago tonight. Royals and the White Sox.
Well, Kansas City with an early lead. I'll tell you what, they went at it yesterday. And I'll tell you, it's been a tough year so far for the Royals.
Well, they started the year against each other, and they had fireworks right out of the chute in Game 1.
Yes, they did, and it continued as that series moved to Chicago last night.
But Kansas City's been involved in a number of these altercations already.
Ventura was on the mound again when it happened last night, and he's pitching Tuesday. Royals come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to face the Indians for the first time, but boy, it has been nonstop with them. There was a pretty big fracas last night.
Fracas. That's one of those words, fracas. I mean, where did that come from?
I don't know. It's a good call.
What constitutes a fracas?
Well, it's better than a fight. Because, you don't want to get caught in the middle of what you're about to see here at the bottom of the pile.
No. Well, there were some guys swinging wildly. So there's some really hard feelings between these two clubs. Because most of the time, you see guys come out and there might be some
grabbing, pushing, shoving, that's all.
Yeah, some pointing, some posturing, but very rarely do you see action. It was action last night.
Well, there's a long way to go in this season. It's only April, and there's been a lot going on.
Down low to Bourne, full count. Michael walked and scored in the 5th. Rolled to first. 2 down. Well, this is what happened if you missed it last night in Chicago. Royals, White Sox. Adam Eaton, the comebacker. Ventura, he stares him down, yells at him, and then Eaton says, "What? Come on!"
And you knew something was going to escalate just from these two teams, and it starts. And it moves around a little bit. Here you're going to see Samardzija, and then there's Volquez taking a swing at him. It was Samardzija who hit Kane in game number 1.
And you saw
it was all over the place.
Did you see who went right after Volquez after he saw him take that wild swing? Tyler Flowers. I wouldn't want to.
Well, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, someone's going to get hurt. You throw a shoulder out or something happens.
Well, here's the thing, Rick, though. If Ventura is constantly seeming, if he's the one common thread, then I would think some action
I would say he is. Well, he's got a lot of growing up to do. But the game's a humbling game. It'll find a way back to you.
Jason Kipnis, bouncer to first. How about that?
Unbelievable. 3-1 3 times.
Indians go 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. All tribes so far tonight, 9-1. 9-1 Cleveland. As we go now to the bottom of the 6th, let's go down to Andre Knott, who has a little more information on the subject of Yordano Ventura, what we were just talking about.
Yes, Ventura was watched. What you guys just showed was watched in the clubhouse today. And one of the key stats on him is in his 4 starts, he's either left the game because of injury or because of what we saw last night. Now, some of the players watching in the clubhouse today said, look, Kansas City had some success last year. They're feeling really good about themselves, but they better be careful because they may be biting off more than they can chew. No one said that they want to go after him, but they are all paying attention to what's going on with the Kansas City Royals throughout the major leagues.
Yeah, you can't hide.
Baseball's kind of always been a game of you don't want to attract attention to yourself. Unwarranted attention.
Well, and somebody better teach him. Teach that young man, because he's drawn as much attention to a ball club as you possibly can.
Well, Alex Avila has had a tough go against Danny Salazar. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Make it 3. That's 8 Ks for Salazar, and that one on 3 pitches.
Well, grab some friends and catch a game at our new 2-story bar with our $13 district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. It's a new bar and the best place in town to go grab a cold one. And with the district ticket, your first one is on us. Visit Indians.com.
Nick Castellanos has accounted for the Tigers' lone run tonight, a home run in the 2nd.
There's a slider.
Looked like a curveball, didn't it?
Well, it had that spin to it, so it's either a slider. I didn't know he threw a curveball. Maybe he didn't either, but he took something off of it. That's the first one I saw breaking away from him.
Andre.
He's working on a curve, guys. He did throw 2 late in the game against Minnesota. It is a pitch he's working on, but he's not that comfortable with it.
Is it a curve or a slider?
He's got a curve that he's just learned, and he's working with it slowly but surely, but he's not throwing it until he gets later in games when he's comfortable.
Well, 9-1 will make you comfortable.
Yeah.
What did he do with the slider?
I
think just throw it away?
He still got that one, too, but I think he's just kind of figuring this all out as he goes along.
I sort of like the fastball curveball. I mean, changeup.
Well, yeah, but you always want a 3rd pitch if you're a starter.
Yeah, well, now is when you have to practice it in situations like this. That was a pretty good one. He slowed it down.
Might have been another one right there. Sometimes it's so hard to tell.
The way he holds his changeup, it's almost like a split change, and it's got the downward movement. Sometimes, depending on if he's behind the ball enough, it could go straight down. You know, and other times it'll go different directions, so it is difficult to tell.
Fastball took off. A lot of guys, right-handed pitchers that throw a changeup, their changeup would break to a right-handed hitter. It would float down and in. Danny's doesn't. It usually just goes straight down. And at times it might tilt a little bit the other way, much like a slider would. But he has punched out 9 Detroit Tigers here tonight.
Well, when you look at his strikeouts tonight, it's a lot of them coming on the heater tonight. He always has a good heater. That's his #1 bread and butter, but you can see he moves it in and out, elevates it, and then he is going to have 1 strikeout on the changeup. There it is right there. You know, it was the other way when he was in Minnesota. He got a lot of the swings and misses on that changeup. But, boy, his fastball's always, you could swing and miss. The one mistake he made was the home run there to Castellanos. But that happens. You're going to make some mistakes, and if he hits a 96, 97 out of the ballpark, you tip your cap, and it wasn't down the right field line. It was in right center field where he hit it a ton. But it's good to see he comes right back. The offense scored for him early. He was able to settle in. He got out of a big jam in the first, bases loaded. He left 2 runners stranded in the 2nd. But boy, he settled in as they got him a couple of runs and let him relax a little bit and let him go out there and just deal. Because boy, this guy could mean an awful lot to this rotation when you've already got Corey Kluber, you got Bauer, you got, you know, with Salazar, and you got Trevor Bauer going tomorrow. Carlos Carrasco on Sunday.
you could see Iglesias there, who was everything he could do just to try to get a piece of that to stay alive. He has blown it up there 98, 97 consistently here tonight. Next pitch will be number 100 in the ballgame.
Looking for a little moisture on the baseball because it's tough, as chilly as it is.
And a lot of strikes tonight from Salazar.
Well, he was 64% last start in Minnesota in the first 100 pitches. He's 62 tonight, so you got to love it.
The 2-2. This might be playable. Can they get to it? Santana, no, it ends up drifting into the seats. A little more foul territory down the lines here before you get deep into the outfield.
Boy, compared to all the other ballparks around baseball,
yeah.
Sure is. This is a lot of territory. It almost looks like Oakland. Not quite that much, though.
Again, the 2-2. Right back to Danny. Boy, the changeup has been a big difference maker again here tonight. Salazar with 9 strikeouts in 6 terrific innings here this evening. Kia. Visit mykiacleveland.com to learn more. By Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture and freestanding locations. And by AT&T Uverse, has more channels on the go than cable. Downtown Detroit, Michigan. Back on their heels tonight because the Indians have come in here and really swinging the bats well. For the first time this year, they have exploded. 9 runs on 10 hits. Knocked the starter Shane Green out with a 6-run 5th inning. And Dr. Smooth has 2 of the Indians' hits tonight. A couple of singles and RBI, and he has scored a pair as well. A little bit outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Perfect pitch.
Well, I was going to say that is a pitcher's pitch, but Michael didn't even sneeze at it. He stayed back. He's coming back with a full count now. Something he does so well, and good hitters do. When they have 2 hits, they want that 3rd hit. They don't care what the score is.
The payoff. And he
there you go.
Squibs it in the left field for a base hit. Boy, that inside-out approach.
Because he didn't try to pull the ball. And it was a breaking ball, slider, that he stayed on. And, you know, he spit on a 2-0 pitch that was a pretty good pitch. He comes back now, tried to throw that slider on the back door part of the plate, and then Brantley says, no, thank you. I'll take my single to left field. Takes what the pitcher gives him. That's 3 hits for him. That's something to get him going. Good hitters have a knack of doing that. You know, they don't give away at-bats. They fight you tooth and nail all the way through. It's a nice shift.
Santana takes ball 1. Michael Brantley, by the way, came into tonight with 7 hits on the year.
So like batting practice there.
3 hits in the game for the Indians Silver Slugger. Santana hits it into the shift. Kinsler goes to Iglesias for 1 on the first, to double play. Well, as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Brandon Moss really got the Indians offense rolling here tonight.
A little chilly tonight. So
Miller time is on ice.
It's on ice. It's cold.
You don't even need the ice chest tonight. You put the Miller Lite on the back patio. It stays plenty cold.
Yeah, these guys walking around the stand selling it.
Current temp here in Detroit, 46 degrees. Moss got the Tribe rolling in that first inning. That was a big hit.
Well, the way they've been swinging the bats with runners in scoring position, it is when you can get it started early. But he goes down this time.
Indians lead at 9-1. We've reached the 7th inning stretch. And the 7th inning stretch is brought to you by Spitzer Auto World.
Indians lead at 9-1 going into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Salazar still out there. He's thrown 102 pitches to this point, 64 strikes. Has been in command today.
Anthony goes, leads off, takes a strike. Indians have action in the bullpen for the first time. And Danny just keeps throwing strikes. Fastball, changeup. You've been seeing 97 all night. Then you come up here in the 7th inning and he throws a changeup that's got a 10-mile-an-hour variance off of it.
Yeah, and you've got to be geared for the fastball. Look at he's throwing it at will now because he's got such a great feel for it. That is 10 strikeouts now for Salazar. Back-to-back starts.
Here's our great clip of the game going back to Wednesday. Roberto Perez coming up throwing, and he raced the speedy Micah Johnson with a perfect throw.
That one was on ice too back in Chicago.
Here's Ian Kinsler taking a strike. Now low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, we mentioned earlier that Danny Salazar averaging 10.45 strikeouts per 9 innings in his career coming into tonight. He's fanned 10 in 6 1/3 innings.
Boy, if he can continue to do that with the feel and command his pitches and keep the pitch count down.
Well, he got down in a hurry, and that line drive went into center field.
That's about the only guy he hasn't been able to retire tonight is Kinsler. He's been on base all 4 times. He walked the first 2 times. He singled his last 2 times. And this one sent him to the elevator on going to the ground floor.
Miguel Cabrera 1 for 3 on the night. And a fastball down and away for strike 1. Well, I think the key for Danny is bringing that intensity from the first pitch. Remember, Rick, in the past, we would see him go out, have a game like this. And then next time around, we'd see him, he'd come out and he'd be throwing maybe 93 in the first inning. And, you know, he was trying to ease his way
into it. Right. Well,
I think Mickey finally got through to him like, that doesn't work here. You've got to bring everything you have from the first pitch on.
Well, and give us all you got. And if it's 4 innings, then it's 4. But if not.
He just made one of the game's best hitters look foolish with another brilliant changeup.
There it is. Got him to chase it. Give him 11. And it's the arm speed. You know, it looks like that fastball. They start to swing, and then all of a sudden the bottom disappears. It drops out. Mickey's got to be thrilled.
Victor Martinez 0 for 2 on the night. You know, I don't think anybody that's watched Danny the last 2 starts is necessarily surprised by what they're seeing. Maybe to the level that he's really dominated. But remember last year, in 13 out of his last 16 starts, he gave up 3 earned runs or less. So he was pitching well down the stretch. He was a big reason why they hung around and had a chance late in the season last year, in addition to obviously the great work by Kluber and Carrasco. But he gave him that 3rd guy in their rotation. what mystified everybody was in spring training, he looked like he had reverted back. There's a long fly ball to right field, but Moss has plenty of room. Makes the catch, but Danny Salazar has righted the ship, and he looks like he's got a chance to be another special member of this Indians starting rotation. Of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Tonight, Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus highlights from tonight's other MLB games. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 on Fox Sports 1, or see it simulcast on Fox Sports Ohio. Tigers making a number of changes. Al Albuquerque has now come on the pitch after Alex Wilson went 3 innings and allowed 1 run on a couple of hits. David Murphy tees off, drives one to deep right center field. That's going to go all the way to the wall. And Murphy hits second base. He'll hold there with a leadoff double. His second hit of the ball game.
Albuquerque coming on for the 8th time. We call him Everyday Al because we usually see him no matter what the score is. He's in there again tonight. And Murphy greets him with a double.
James McCann behind the dish. Andrew Romine is at first. Hernan Perez takes over at second base. In the dirt to Lonnie Chisenhall. He's 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. And a strike called, 1-1. Upstairs, Albuquerque looking down at his footing after he delivered that last pitch.
This is one of the reasons they made the move to bring up Wilson, who just left the ball game after 3 innings because of the Yankee series. Their starter to go a short distance. They needed some help in the bullpen.
Well, you know, that just reminded me. Oh, Lonnie Chisenhall, fly ball deep right field. J.D. Martinez, he's out of room. It's out of here. Lonnie Chisenhall with his first home run of the season. A 2-run shot here in the 8th inning, and the Indians lead it 11-1.
Well, Albuquerque has a good slider. I don't know exactly where this one was located, but Lonnie, pretty good breaking ball hitter, and gives it a ride. He gets the slider and speeds up his bat. He's a good low ball hitter and gives it a ride over the right field fence to put 2 more on the board and make it an 11-1 ball game. Second home run, both of them have had at least 1 man on base. 2-run homer and a 3-run homer today for the Tribe.
Well, this is the kind of game you hope for, I think, collectively as a team, where everybody has a hand in it and you score a lot of runs. So,
well, like you said before the game, didn't you say you got to go back to, was it 67 or something, before they haven't scored more than 6 runs in the first 14 games?
Yeah, 1967 was the last time that had happened to an Indians team. So it's only natural, because these are human beings, it's only natural that they start to have some self-doubt. I mean, you start wondering, man, is this who we are? Is this our offense? Are we just not good enough? Are we not going to get enough hits? Are we going to struggle to scratch him out?
You got to hit your way out of it, is what you have to do. You got to get up there, you got to swing it, you got to hit your way out of it, and they certainly have tonight.
And I think that's what Terry Francona has tried to preach to them, along with Ty Van Berkeley and Matt Quatraro. I mean, you can't panic. You can't, like Terry said, if I thought yelling and screaming and throwing a tantrum in the clubhouse that would make him hit, then I'd have done it by now. But that's just not the way it works in baseball. You've got to stay positive. You've got to try to keep pushing ahead, and eventually the hope is that you'll come out of it. And many of them have come out of it.
Love to see the crooked numbers up there. They've got a ways to go. They've got to continue to do it, and hopefully it lasts all weekend, and they carry it in to bring it home with us.
But even though Michael Bourne hasn't collected a hit tonight, he did walk and scored a run. Jose Ramirez with a sac fly to drive in a run, singled and scored. But, you know, going back to what we were talking about earlier before the fireworks began with the Lonnie Chisenhall home run, in spring training you focus so much on who's going to make the club, who's the 25th guy on the roster, that bullpen spot, that extra. And here 14 games into the season, guys are going up and down and sideways because things happen early in a season. You run into a hot team, you burn up your bullpen, you've already got to make moves. Somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
You know, you focus so much on that roster coming out of spring training, and before you know it, that thing's out the window, and you're already in.
Well, when you focus coming out of spring training, you focus on, you hope to win ball games.
Well, you're looking at your 40-man roster. Who legitimately is going to be there to help you? Because you're going to need at least 10 of those guys.
Yeah, but you certainly hope you don't have to mess with that 25-man, but a lot of times you do.
2 down as Ramirez is forced at second. Hey, let's go down to Andre. He's got the latest on Nick Swisher's road to rehab.
With 2 singles and a strikeout. He was going to play tonight. He's going to play Sunday, and then he'll be at Progressive Field Monday when we get back there to check him out. 2 for 3 tonight in Columbus with 2 singles.
All right. Well, hey. I don't know how, Terry didn't even know how many games it's going to take for him to get to where he's ready to be reactivated. But
again, when you go out to some place, you start rehabbing, you play it 1 game at a time. It was a balk. Al Albuquerque. He just balked, so we'll move Bourne to second base.
He balked to end the game in Cleveland last year.
Watch the flinch. That's exactly
similar to what he did last year.
He flinched a little more back in Cleveland.
A little more pronounced. The 0-2 is bounced toward the hole. Romine with a good feed to Albuquerque, who beats Kipnis to the bag. Middle of the 8th, Lonnie Chisenhall, the latest to cash in for the Tribe. All smiles tonight in the Motor City. Tomorrow's Indians-Tigers game can be seen exclusively on Fox Sports 1 as Trevor Bauer is on the mound for the Tribe against Alfredo Simon and the Tigers. Coverage starts at 12:30. First pitch at 1 o'clock. Mets, Yankees follow on America's Home for Baseball every Saturday. Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Scott Atchison coming on a pitch now for the Tribe after Danny Salazar went 7 stellar innings here tonight, giving up 1 run, striking out 11. Mike Aviles behind Omar Vizquel is taken over in left field.
Yeah, the 11 strikeouts for Salazar, career high.
J.D. Martinez takes a breaking ball and it just missed. 1-1. Atchison stays right with it, and Martinez went after it, came up empty. Fastball took up. Well, it's been a while since we've seen Atchison in the game, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It seemed like he appeared in the first 6 games of the year, and we haven't seen him since. I know it wasn't that way, but he appeared in a lot early.
He did pitch 2/3 of an inning against Chicago, but he has not pitched a lot of late.
Going to find a gap.
Mike Aviles just into the game. Long run, makes the catch.
That's a tester. Boy, when that ball left the bat, it did not look like anybody was going to get to it, but Aviles just inserted into the ball game, had a long way to go, and he made a nice running catch. Well done. Look at, I mean, he had quite a distance to cover. That was well into left center field. Puts it away, out number 1.
Mike Aviles going Joe Willie Namath on us out there with the white shoes.
They make you run faster.
Well, I guess they're not all white. They just got a lot of white showing when he was picking them up and putting them down.
The white ones make you run a little bit faster. At least it looks like it.
I always remember people saying, if you wear all white uniforms as a team, you look bigger, and if you wear all black uniforms, you look smaller. Not sure I buy that, but that's what they say. Oh, another spectacular defensive play turned in by the Indians defense tonight.
Yeah, they've made some nice plays.
Jose Ramirez, the latest to join the highlight reel.
There it was, a breaking ball away. Cespedes hits it right on the nose, timed beautifully by Ramirez. He puts it away. Kipnis had to leap a couple of times tonight. Moss made a diving catch. Going to have to ask our fashion consultant about the all white and all black. I think a team full of ladies would love to wear the all black uniforms.
Wait, do we have a fashion consultant?
Yes, we do. We got to ask Murph.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Penguin?
Yeah. He'll match it up with his Penguins and it all is good. I do like the all gray uniforms we're wearing for the road.
Classic look.
You know, every once in a while you mix in the blue top, and I like the grays on the road.
Breaking ball hit on the ground to second base. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers, and we go to the ninth. 11-1 Cleveland. That was what we promised you earlier. It's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Brandon Moss got it rolling with 2 outs, nobody on base in the first inning. Michael Brantley singled, Carlos Santana walked, and then Brandon Moss clobbered one to give the Indians the early lead. And then he greeted Alex Wilson in the 5th inning. The first pitch he threw ended up in the seats, a 3-run homer, capped the 6-run 5th inning, and the rout was on. Mike Aviles, who came on for Michael Brantley, leads off here in the ninth. And Aviles with a ground ball to short. It's backhanded by Iglesias. Low throw, and I think he beat it out. He did.
Well, it was that little stumble that he had. He had to go down to one knee. He was going to backhand it and tried to get back up, but he fell down. And then by the time he got up, Avila's getting down the line. And you see he's on one knee, so he's got to push himself back up by the time he makes a throw. I'll bet they give him a base hit here. And he just does beat it out.
Yeah.
So give the Indians, it's their night, baby. Another hit. There you can see he gets there. It was the right call. 15 hits now for the Indians. What are they doing? Are they... Did somebody ask him for the... Did Osmus go from the dugout and say go replay that? No, he doesn't have to come out. I didn't see him get on the top step, so obviously he did. He's going to crew chief Jim Joyce to say, I want to check that. But from our angle, it looked like he beat it out, huh? Aviles was on the bag by the time the ball got there.
Not to mention, am I missing something here? Why would you challenge a play down 10 runs?
That's a good question.
Well, I'm not sure when he actually had clear possession of the ball. It looked like it might have been moving in the glove even.
Well, from their angle, they felt he was out. So the Tigers are going to challenge it. It's bang bang at first base. I wondered what was going on. They were just standing around in the in the infield.
Just seems like an odd spot for a challenge.
Well, you have them. Use it.
I think it was definitely a close play. And let's see what they decide. Jim Joyce is the crew chief, and you call him out.
He did? Okay. Well, that's why you challenge it. They felt they saw it from their angle. He was out, and it is. We were wrong. He was right. It was bang bang. From that one angle, I couldn't tell when the ball went in the glove. It looked like Aviles beat it, but on that hop there, Romine makes a nice pick, and I guess he has the ball in the glove by the time Aviles' foot came down. So that'll go as a 6-3.
Well, it's interesting in that coming into today, there had been 107 calls reviewed in Major League Baseball this far. 26% were confirmed, 30% were the call stands, 41% were overturned.
Okay. I think that's down from last year, isn't it? I think it was around 47.
Were overturned last year?
Yes.
Carlos Santana with his second 4-pitch walk of the night. Hey, it's time for another Mazda game break. Here's Al. All right, thanks, Al. Here is Albuquerque now facing Brandon Moss, and that pitch is hit high in the air. Deep right field. Martinez back looking up. Gone to Souvenir City.
How about that?
Brandon Moss with a home run that could have brought rain on this cold evening in Detroit. A majestic, no doubt about it, skyscraper home run for Moss. His second of the night, and he has driven in 7 runs in the ballgame.
What is it about this ballpark and Brandon Moss? I mean, that was a moon scraper right there. That was up there for a while.
Well, Moss has a new career high with 7 runs batted in the ballgame, passing his previous career high that he set in this ballpark 2 years ago when he drove in 6 runs in the ballgame.
Keep going. Keep adding on. Moss gets a chance. Those are fun. You don't get to have nights like that too often. Why not?
Well, remember, the Indians' first 11 home runs of the season were all solo shots. Here tonight, a 3-runner, a 2-runner, and another 2-run shot. Murphy hits a fly ball to center field. 2 down. Now that's why the Indians felt Brandon Moss could be a guy that would help this lineup.
Well, guys like that are power hitters, they get streaky, you know, and they come in bunches. So let's hope they continue to come for a while. And it was funny, 11 solo shots. Tonight they have 3, and there was somebody on base every time they hit them. 3-runner and 2 2-runners.
Lonnie Chisenhall, 2-run smash in the 8th off Albuquerque. And Lonnie lines one to right field. Martinez makes the catch. Indians throwing the lumber around tonight. Brandon Moss with a career-high 7 runs batted in. Tribe up 13-1. (13-1), Cleveland on top. Looking back at our keys to the game, brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Play from in front. The Indians scored first and have never trailed. Danny Salazar, he was brilliant again. And the Indians were able to contain Miguel Cabrera early when it was still a close game. They got a bloop single in the first, but then struck him out in the second. He flied to right in the 5th, and by then the rout was on. Anthony Swarzak will come out to pitch here in the bottom of the 9th. Jerry Sands is in right field. Nick Castellanos checks on the ball down low.
Yeah, the remaining 2 games in this series will be day games. 1 o'clock starts.
Foul back.
Boy, I don't know what the Indians did on the off day, but whatever it was, it worked.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
They had a strike call.
Castellanos, the culprit to get the Tigers on the board today with a solo shot in the second inning.
Up high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a foul off of his foot. Lays off, full count. Strikes him out. That's the 12th strikeout of the night for Cleveland pitching. 1 down here in the bottom of the ninth. Stay tuned after the ball game for Indians Live, presented by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Al and Jensen have the highlights. We'll break it down for you. The Indians have had quite a night. Season highs in 6 different offensive categories. Their most runs in a game, their biggest inning in terms of runs scored, their most hits in a game, 15 of those, season high 4 doubles, season high 3 home runs, and a season high 7 extra base hits, all coming here tonight. And the fact that they're doing it against the team that came into Cleveland and kicked sand in their face early in the season doesn't hurt. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off the leg. And that's always a concern where you're talking about Jose Iglesias, because I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the shins. This one seems it's a little two-seamer running in, and it goes right down. He's got a pad that might have been a little higher than where the pad is at.
Looked like it was right above that. You know, I mentioned this earlier. He missed last year because of the shin splints, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that he played hurt the year before. And as you take a look at Brandon Moss and his career numbers here in Detroit.
He just needed a trip to the Motor City.
Two. Swarzak knocks it down. Does he have time? No.
Well, for fouling the ball off his leg to pitch before, he certainly got down the line awfully quick. That'll be a base hit. Swarzak didn't field it cleanly. Once it fell out of the glove, he sniffed a hit, and he was down the line in a hurry. I was watching him, and it didn't seem to phase him. Now he sees a hit. And watch him get down the line. There he goes. Pitch your head down. As hitter smell, this is like a bounce going after cheese right there, boy.
He found another gear.
Yes, he did. It's called a base hit.
Still feeling it, though. And a foul back. $28,192 Frosty fans in attendance here tonight at Comerica Park, including John Holko and Ryan Kelber from Cleveland, who made the trek up. Any Indians fans that came to Detroit for this one have to be feeling pretty good, because it has not been a lot of fun for the Indians playing against Detroit for the last several years.
Hopefully it'll be a start for a good weekend.
The 0-2.
Nice.
Ball just locked him out. Second strikeout of the inning for Swarzak. Time now for our Pat O'Brien play of the game, and Danny Salazar went 7 innings, gave up 1 run on 6 hits, walked 3, struck out a career high 11.
Yeah, he was dealing tonight. Good fastball, mixed in his changeup as it went along. And it's back-to-back very good starts for Salazar. That's a good sign.
Catcher James McCann gets his first at bat of the night. Breaking ball gets away, but Iglesias isn't going anywhere. McCann awaits a 2-1 pitch, and Swarzak delivers on a line drive base hit into right field. Iglesias just sort of hobbles his way into second base. And that'll bring up Hernan Perez. And he takes a little bit high, ball one. Two singles here in the ninth for Detroit. Gives them 8 hits on the evening. There's a pitch over the outside corner. And it's 1-1. Well, this is a sports town right now that's reeling a little bit. Their Red Wings were up 2-0 in the third period with time running out last night. A chance to go up 3-1 in their series against Tampa Bay, and the Lightning struck twice to tie it, and then they won it in overtime. And now the Tigers get bushwhacked by the Indians here in a series opener tonight by a final score of 13-1.